Hey guys, Rick here from Stony Acres Gardening. Welcome to my channel. The weather has turned. We've had several light frosts and one hard freeze. Our outside garden is toast. Now we do still have some fall and winter crops going out there. We've got some spinach and carrots and kale and leeks and beets and things like that still growing. But for the most part, our garden is done, which means it's time for me to start thinking about growing things inside. And so today we're going to talk about growing sprouts and microgreens. And in particular, we're going to be talking about the difference between sprouts and microgreens. Now, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I've actually got several videos that are going to be coming out to help you along your sprouts and microgreens journey. And all of those videos are being sponsored by True Leaf Market, which is the world's best seed company when it comes to sprouts and microgreens. Whether you are growing, like me on your kitchen countertop, or even if you're growing commercially and, doing microgreens and things like that for farmers markets or restaurants or whatever, True Leaf Market is the place to go. They have over 300 different varieties of microgreens and sprouts. They have dozens of different varieties. They have all the supplies you need. So True Leaf Market is the best place to go for sprouts and microgreens and the things you need to get started there. So I would encourage you to check them out. There's links down in the description for you for that. But thank you again to them for sponsoring this video. All right, so let's talk about sprouts and microgreens. And in this video, I wanted to make sure that you guys understood the difference between sprouts and microgreens and what they are. So let's start by talking about sprouts. So this is a jar of sprouts. Sprouts we eat, and we'll take this off and I'll show it to you. So sprouts we eat at this stage. So you can see we're just starting to get some leaves there. We've got roots and stem, and this is what we eat with sprouts, is this, okay? I love this little batch here. This is one of the True Leaf Market mixes, and it's a salad mix, and we love that. So we eat those sprouts at that very immature stage. Most sprouts we eat just as they're starting to get leaves. A few, like beans and lentils, we eat even before they get leaves. So we eat them at that very immature stage. Sprouts are very easy to grow. They take up very little space. I mean, look at this. That's how much space they take up on my countertop. It's just that little tiny bit. Or if you want to get fancier, you can get this tray system. So this is a 3-tray system. You can actually grow 3 different batches in this system. So doesn't take up a lot of space. Really easy to grow. You can buy the seeds in big bulk packages, which makes them very inexpensive to grow. There are a few safety rules that you need to watch with sprouts, especially to make sure that you're growing them safely. Next week, we're actually going to be doing a video on growing this very salad mix. And so check back and we'll go through the 3 safety rules that you need to follow to make sure you're growing your sprouts safely. But sprouts overall are just really easy. There's quite a few varieties. Probably commonly grown varieties would be right around 15 or so. There's about probably 20, 25 total. Some of them are a little bit harder to do, a little trickier to do. Flax or chia are a little bit harder to grow. So commonly, the most commonly grown varieties, right around 15. Just really dead simple to grow, really easy, don't take up a lot of space, and a great place to start growing your own food. And the nice thing is, it takes like 0 time to grow. Okay, not 0, but it doesn't take a lot of time to grow sprouts. So depending on the variety, it's anywhere from 3 to 6 days. Beans and lentils, usually right around 3 days. The salad mixes and broccoli, cabbage, things like that, are usually more around 5 to 6 days is the maturity on those. So they're really quick to grow, very fast, very nutritious. We're going to talk about nutrition here in a minute. Just a dead simple, easy thing to grow in your kitchen to kind of replace some of the stuff that's not coming out of your garden because it's wintertime. Now, we grow sprouts year-round. Microgreens, which we're going to talk about next, we usually grow just in the wintertime. So let's move on, talk about microgreens. So these are microgreens, guys. And microgreens, you can see, are much bigger. So we harvest and grow microgreens to the leaf stage. Now, depending on what it is that we're growing, it will kind of depend on at what leaf stage. So this is radishes. It's China rose radishes. And you can see that this is what we call the cotyledon stage. So these are the seedling leaves that we have from from the plants. So that's the stage that we grow these two. There are a few varieties where we will actually grow to the true leaf stage, but those are usually varieties that don't have cotyledons. So like buckwheat, for example, doesn't really have a cotyledon, it just puts up its first set of true leaves. Peas is another great example of that. It doesn't have cotyledons, so we just eat those first set of leaves. But the whole idea is that we're going to get them to this leafy stage. Now, to get them to this stage, it's going to take longer. Most microgreen varieties are going to be ready between 10 to 14 days. There are a few that take a little bit longer than that, but most are ready in about 10 to 14 days. This batch of radish microgreens is 10 days old right now, and they're about ready to harvest. I'll probably start harvesting them tomorrow. The other nice thing about microgreens is you can harvest them over a longer period of time. So with these radishes, we'll start harvesting them tomorrow, but we'll just keep going for about a week until we harvest that whole tray. And so we can kind of just leave them there and let them continue to grow as we harvest them. And that's, again, variety dependent, but very, very handy. Now, one thing about microgreens is they require more stuff, which to me makes them more fun to grow because there's more involved in what we need. So you're going to have a tray or a couple of trays in our situation. We've got these bootstrap farmer trays that we got from True Leaf Market. And you'll have one that nests in another, and this tray has holes in it so that the water will soak up and we can water from the bottom. And you're also going to have some kind of growing medium. For us, we like to use coco coir, and so it's basically a soil that we're growing in. You can grow them in hydroponic mats as well if you want to. And then you're going to have the seeds. And then with microgreens, you need light. Sprouts, we don't use light. With microgreens, you're going to need some kind of light. So we just use a simple grow light. We picked this up at like a local hardware store. True Leaf Market has a lot of good options for you as well. But just a simple grow light is all you need, or even just a simple like shop light, an LED shop light or something like that is all you really need. But it does normally require light unless you have a windowsill that you can set something this big on, or if you want to grow in something smaller, a smaller container, then you can use a windowsill. But they do require some light. Now, all of that extra, I don't know if it's complication, but the extra stuff is what makes it fun for me. I like, it feels more like gardening, if that makes sense. It feels like I'm seed starting or whatever, and so it kind of scratches my gardening itch during the wintertime especially. Now, we grow sprouts year-round, like I said. Normally, we're only growing microgreens from mid-October till about mid-April. And then our garden kind of kicks in and takes over with our greens during that time frame. So that's kind of the schedule that we run. Wintertime, we're growing a lot of microgreens. We grow sprouts year-round. But it gets you doing things, and it keeps my brain occupied while my garden's under snow. So I love sprouts and microgreens for those very reasons. Let's talk really quick about nutrition. Now, I am not a food scientist, nor am I a plant scientist, okay? So I don't understand all of the ins and outs of this, but there's something about small, new plants like this that the nutrients are concentrated. Something to do with the enzymes and just the overall condition of these plants. Nutrients are really concentrated. So oftentimes there will be 10 times, 50 times more nutrients gram for gram, depending on the nutrient, in sprouts and microgreens than there is in the grown-up version. So broccoli versus broccoli sprouts or broccoli microgreens, there would be more nutrients in the microgreens and the sprouts than there would be in the actual broccoli, okay? They're loaded with fiber. They're all fiber. They have lots of vitamins, potassium, things like that. They have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for your heart and your blood pressure. And the other nice thing, and this is one of the reasons why we grow sprouts so much, is they have a lot of antioxidants that are cancer fighters. Here's a good example: broccoli sprouts. They have a antioxidant in them called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is a really good cancer fighter. And broccoli sprouts, gram for gram, have about 50 times as much sulforaphane in them than broccoli does, okay? And so we get the benefit of those concentrated nutrients in a very easy to grow, easy to manage system. So I love sprouts and I love microgreens. Now, if you are just starting out, I would probably encourage you to start with sprouts, but don't spend a lot of time on them. You should have sprouts figured out after 4 or 5 batches. And then it's time to move on to microgreens, because microgreens are fun, guys. I love microgreens so much. And there's such a huge variety. I mean, again, True Leaf Market, who's sponsoring this video, if you go on their website right now, there's something like 75 plus different types of microgreens. And then if you throw in all the varieties, like these radishes, we're doing a test drive, a taste test basically, of 3 different types of radishes. We're gonna do that video in about 2 weeks. So you add all of that together, and all of a sudden there's over 300 different varieties of seeds that you can get on True Leaf Market's website for microgreens, and dozens for sprouts. The other nice thing about True Leaf Market is if you're just getting started, you can buy kits to get started with, and they're going to include everything you need to start growing, including the seeds, enough to get a good solid number of batches under your belt before you decide to go out and buy other seeds. So True Leaf Market is awesome for microgreens and sprouts, the best place that we have found to buy them. And again, whether you're doing it in your kitchen or you're growing commercially, it's the place to go for sprouts and microgreen supplies, and especially seeds. So make sure that you check them out. I've included some links down in the description of this video. I've included some of our favorite seeds, and I've included these different kits as well, so that you guys can click on those to go check them out. So we love True Leaf Market, and we'd encourage you to go check those guys out, okay? All right, so stay tuned to our channel, because over the next few weeks, we are going to be doing several other sprouts and microgreen related videos, including a how to grow sprouts. We're gonna grow this actual salad mix for you, and then how to grow microgreens. We're gonna do 3 different trays of radish microgreens, and then do a taste test at the end to see which of the 3 different varieties that we like. So those are coming up in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you stick around to check those out. So get subscribed. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next week. Happy gardening.